I don't like yes men. I don't like yes men. I need somebody to challenge me. If I say we doing A, you have to be like, okay, maybe that's not making sense. And usually the men that put you on a pedestal are the men that are willing to do whatever you want, and I don't really want that.
That makes sense, because from an evolutionary standpoint,
Yeah.
men were the more dominant of the
Yeah.
genders, and women, not to say that they were necessarily submissive, well, but they were to a point, but it's more like the man leads and the woman follows. Even though the woman will be her own independent person, but in terms of like decisions that come to the household,
Yeah.
like that, men
I
tend
feel
to
so
take the
everybody,
charge.
in my opinion, should work to their strong points. If you know something that he better at, then let him lead. And when he knows something that you better at, then he should let you lead. And it really needs to be like an equal power play.
I'm going to do something that I very rarely do, and I'm going to spend an entire video addressing a criticism that's often leveled at me and my channel. The reason for this is because I know that people want to understand what are some of the building blocks of my worldview, what are some of my foundational beliefs. And so in this video, we're going to zoom out, we're going to ignore all the details, the minutiae, and I'm going to give you the big perspective on how I judge people. If you watch my videos, you will have heard me throw around terms like high quality man, high quality women, and of course low quality men and low quality women. From where I'm standing, this idea that all people are equal is a concept that is completely and utterly ridiculous. I strongly reject it. When it comes to the quality of a person, everybody exists somewhere on a spectrum. The low quality people are nasty, mean, and abusive, and the high quality people are kind, talented, friendly. I will condemn in the strongest possible terms low quality people. I have no time for them whatsoever, because they look at the state of the world with all of its suffering and all of its pain and misery, and instead of working to improve things, they just add to it. They're lazy, they take the easy way out. They blame, they complain, they manipulate, they're exploitative. I have no time for those people in my life. For more than a decade, I've cut all those people out of my social circle. I don't want anything to do with them. Now that is 100% a selfish decision on my part, because I want to enjoy my life. I want to spend my time with high quality people, people who uplift and inspire, people who make me think, people who make me laugh. When it comes to choosing who I'm going to surround myself with, who I'm going to let into my social circle, it just makes sense that I would only allow people who love and respect me, people who are interesting, dynamic individuals. Now, a lot of my channel is dedicated to warning men against the dangers of dating a low quality woman. Because if you get mixed up with one of these girls, she's going to ruin your life. Your life will be miserable. Low quality women are toxic. They need to be avoided at all costs. And if you're a kind, decent guy and you've somehow got yourself mixed up with one of these women, you absolutely have my compassion. In the big picture, I want men to be happy. And what I recommend they do to attain that happiness is to get into a relationship with a high quality woman. This is what guides all the advice that I give on this channel. So let's say you wanted to cook a delicious meal, but you screwed up the recipe and the food just tastes awful. As a solution to that problem, I'm not going to recommend swearing yourself off food and starving yourself to death. The solution that I recommend is to find a better recipe, find higher quality ingredients, follow the recipe more closely, and if you do that, you can still enjoy a delicious meal. Likewise, if your dating life is a complete disaster and you're only attracting toxic, horrible, low quality women, well then my recommendation is to change the way that you're doing things. Switch up that recipe, switch up the ingredients so you can start attracting a high quality woman into your life. But this perspective that I have, that I consider optimistic and empowering to men, it really antagonizes some people. And I get comments like this one all the time. Let me read it to you. You speak about women, sex, and relationships, but you have yet to understand the female nature. Too young, too much testosterone, worshipping vagina like all the 20-year-olds. There is no such thing as high-quality women. Now, for a man to believe that every single woman is irredeemable, presumably including his mother, sisters, grandmothers, aunts, all of that stuff, for a guy to come to that conclusion and to have that belief, he must have been through something really rough. He absolutely has my compassion. This is the guy who's probably been abused, manipulated, and exploited by a long string of low-quality women, and he's lost hope that any other type of woman exists. To believe that there are high-quality women is painful because it keeps hope alive in a context that seems utterly hopeless. When you're in that position, it's less painful to just crush the idea, to just completely give up on the possibility of ever meeting a high quality woman. That way, it's not going to hurt when she never comes into your life. So like I said, a guy who has this belief 100% has my compassion, but I'm never going to share this belief, and I'll explain why. I know women in my personal life, high quality women, women who are kind, respectful, intelligent, women who I've known for years, women who I've seen tested in really tough situations, but have shown courage and character. I know people in healthy, functioning relationships where the woman is supportive and nurturing of her partner, relationships where the woman doesn't nag, doesn't complain, doesn't put her partner down. No, she uplifts him. She sees herself as his teammate and they're working together on the same goal. Now, don't misunderstand me and think that I'm speaking simplistically, saying that all women are like this. Far from it. The majority of the human population, I believe, are low quality people. I have known some truly vile, disgusting women who've done things in their personal lives that make your stomach turn. I know that they exist. But this is my point. You can't make vast generalizations about an entire gender. To say that all women are angels or that all women are demons is equally ridiculous. Just like men, there are low quality women and there are high quality women. I have consciously made an effort over a large number of years to remove all low quality women from my life. I wanted to put myself in a situation where I only interacted with high quality women. And that wasn't easy. That takes dedication. That takes effort. It's a matter of constantly refining your social circle, of consciously choosing what communities you're going to be a part of. It takes time and it's a struggle, but my God, it is worth it. It's like one of my favorite Ayn Rand quotes. It's something like, I lack the courage to be a coward because I see the consequences too clearly. I'm the same way. I lack the courage to spend time with low quality women because I see the consequences far too clearly. Now, there is a small segment of guys who seem to be on this crusade to try and convince all other men that high quality women do not exist. What they don't understand is that they will never succeed with a man who knows from his own personal life experience that high quality women do exist. Once you've known women like that, kind, feminine, intelligent, respectful, high quality women, and you've interacted with them, they're part of your social life, you know them as human beings, no amount of words on the internet are ever going to convince you that they don't exist, because a high quality man trusts his own judgment. But the real question is, what do you do if you've never met high quality women? If you've only met low quality women and your life is just a never-ending list of the ways that you're exploited or mistreated by horrible women. Sorry, that just came to mind. That's kind of the premise of this book, Land of the Losers, which is a sponsor of this channel. So if you haven't read this book and that sounds interesting to you, check that out, because this guy was abused in some extraordinary ways. And I just think that the way that he came out of it, the way he learned to look for high quality women, it was unique to his personal life situation, but it was really empowering. Read this book if you haven't read it yet. So this won't surprise you, but I strongly recommend against going down the path of believing that high quality women do not exist. Now, just from a purely practical point of view, I can say with confidence that if you don't believe that high quality women exist, you're never going to meet one. You know, how are you even going to recognize her if you don't believe that she exists? That's just the practical consideration, but when you just consider the intellectual perspective, I want to demonstrate to you the lack of wisdom in believing that high quality women cannot exist. Part of your intellectual responsibility as a conscious, rational being is to not settle for simplistic answers. It's to keep digging, keep looking deeper at something, trying to find the nuance of it until you finally arrive at the truth. Yes, we do live in a culture where women's behavior is not heavily scrutinized, where women get a free pass in a situation where a man would be absolutely crucified. There is this cultural myth that women are morally superior to men, that women are somehow less likely to be cruel or exploitative. Obviously, that's complete nonsense. Those kinds of beliefs are like a disease that infect our entire society, and you need to cure that, but the correct medicine to a toxic belief system isn't counteracting it with some equally ridiculous belief system like all women are low quality. Likewise, you can't settle for some explanation like there's good and bad in everybody, you know, who's really to say who's high quality or low quality, we're all equals. That kind of wishy-washiness is especially frustrating because it's absolute nonsense. Some people are demonstrably better than other people, and it is your moral responsibility to discern who the good people are, who the bad people are. You need to reward the high-quality people, and you need to avoid the toxic people. I want to read you a quote from Ayn Rand from her book, The Virtue of Selfishness. Fantastic book, by the way. I recommend every person read it. She writes, "The moral principle to adopt in this issue is judge and prepare to be judged. The opposite of moral neutrality is not a blind, arbitrary, self-righteous condemnation of any idea, action, or person that does not fit one's mood, one's memorized slogans, or one's snap judgment of the moment. Indiscriminate tolerance and indiscriminate condemnation are not two opposites. They are two variants of the same evasion. To declare that everybody is white, or everybody is black, or everybody is neither white nor black but grey, is not a moral judgment, but an escape from the responsibility of moral judgment. There's some woman out there who says that all men are toxic, they're all would-be wife beaters and rapists. There's some man out there who says that all women are toxic, they're all would-be gold diggers and cheaters and manipulators. Then there's some person who says that all men and women are the same, that there's no meaningful distinctions between them. To me, they're all the same because they are reneging on their responsibility to judge people as individuals. They're just reverting back to tribalism, to identity politics. It's like what Dr. Martin Luther King said. We need to judge people based on the content of their character, not on the color of their skin, or in this case, their gender. I'm not saying that there are lots and lots of high quality women. There aren't. There's also not that many high quality men. Most of the population kind of sucks. The percentage of the population that would meet my standards for what I consider to be a high quality person is very, very small. Very few men and women would reach that threshold. So I think there are some very legitimate questions that could be asked, such as, are there enough high quality women to go around? Should you search for a woman who is already high quality, or should you find somebody who has potential and nurture them in their growth? Is every person actually capable of becoming high quality? Are low quality people even capable of having relationships? Those are all really good questions that would generate fascinating discussions, and those are topics that I will cover in the future on this channel. But to just end things here, I want to say that I find the assertion that high quality women do not exist, that there are just no high quality women out there, completely and utterly ridiculous.
Not defeat. Think of it the other way. If you know that this life is all that you have, wouldn't you make the most of it?